Good morning, children. Today we are going to start a new topic, which is active voice and passive voice. Okay. Now, active and passive are two forms of verbs basically, which determine the position of the subject and the object. So basically, to understand active and passive, we should first understand what is the subject in a sentence and what is the object in a sentence. So let us quickly understand that first, and then we'll understand active and passive. Okay. So now let us start with this. Let us say Ahmed helps Raju. Okay. Ahmed helps Raju. So the doer of the action here in this case is Ahmed. Okay, so he is the subject, and the receiver of the action here is Raju. So this is the object. Okay, so this is the subject, this is the object, and this is the verb, right? Ahmed helps Raju. Ahmed is the subject, verb is helps, and Raju is the object. Now, if I just change the order and if I say Raju is helped by Ahmed, okay? If I change this sentence as Raju is helped by Ahmed, so in this case, you see that I have interchanged the positions. I brought this object here, okay? You can see this object has come here and this subject has come here. So this sentence has now changed from active to passive. I'm just giving you an introduction. I'll explain you what everything is. But this subject comes here and object comes here. So the meaning remains same, right? The meaning has remained the same, but the verb which was here as helped, the form of verb has changed from active voice to passive voice. Okay, here it becomes is helped, so which is in passive voice. Fine. So, how do we identify, first of all, whether a sentence is in active voice or whether it is in passive voice? See, when the emphasis is on the subject, when the emphasis is on the subject or on the doer of an action, then we say it is an active voice. Okay, then we say that the sentence is in active voice. However, if the verb is basically when it is in passive voice, when the subject is acted upon, okay, when the subject is being acted upon, or in other words, what I can say is when the emphasis is on the object. Okay, so when the main emphasis is on the object, or what you can say is on the work done, okay, then you say that this verb is in passive voice. Fine. So you can say, like in this example, Raju is helped by Ahmed. So who is helped? Basically Raju. So we are emphasizing on the object, not on the doer of the action. Who is helping? Basically Ahmed. We are not focusing on that. We are helping on who is being helped. So then in such a case, we say that the emphasis is on passive voice. I hope I'm clear. Okay. I'll give you one more example of this. Let us say we say they built the bridge last year. They built the bridge last year. Now this is an active voice. Why? See, built is the verb here. Okay, they is the subject, and what is the object? Bridge. Okay, so this is the subject, this is verb, and this is object. If I have to change this active voice into passive voice, how do I do? I write the bridge. Now I bring the object here, right? The bridge was built last year by them. Last year by them. The bridge was built last year by them. So this is basically passive. Why? Because in this sentence, we are focusing more on the object rather than who did that. The subject has become here, and You see the verb is here. The built has become was built, right? So this is how we are able to identify a sentence in active and passive verbs. I hope this much is clear. Correct? Now, please keep in mind that only transitive verbs will have this voice change. Okay, only in case of transitive verbs. Now, what are transitive verbs? Basically, verbs which have an object. Okay, you can refer to another video for this, for transitive and intransitive. But basically, where the action is being done on something, then we usually say that the verb is telling you about transitive or intransitive. I'll explain you this all right now also with the help of one example. Give me a second. So now let us take some few examples to understand this transitive verbs. For example, if I say he liked the match, okay, he liked the match. So in this case, liked is a verb. Yes, liked is the verb. It is showing you action. He is the subject. Now, what did he like? He liked the match. So there is an object here, right? Then this is a transitive verb. So what I want to tell you is that this liked is basically a transitive verb because this is exerting some action on some object. Got it? Similarly, I'll take another example of transitive. Then I say, I closed the door. I closed the door. Now, I is the subject here. Close is the verb here and door is the object here, right? So this close here also is a transitive verb. I hope this is clear. On the contrary, there are certain verbs which are intransitive, but the voice change you will observe only in case of transitive verb. The voice change which we are learning, जो हम voice change सीख रहे हैं active to passive, वो सिर्फ transitive verbs में ही आपको दिखेगा, ठीक है? Intransitive का example लेते हैं. She coughed strangely. Supposing I say she coughed strangely. Now in this case, बच्चे, coughed is the verb, but it is not basically exerting an action on an object. Okay, you're not saying she coughed on or at or whatever. Okay, so this is only telling you the way. Strangely is an adverb, right? So we have a subject here, we have a verb here, and we have an adverb here. We don't have any object here. So these kind of sentences have intransitive verbs. Okay, so cuffed here is a verb, but it is intransitive. So in this case, you will not be able to change this into passive. Correct? Similarly, if I say, your dog barks a lot. Your dog barks a lot. So here barks is a verb, but then is it exerting an action on an object? No. So this is an intransitive. So intransitive verbs basically make sense even without an object. Remember that, okay? And in those cases, we don't have any active or passive. Voice change will occur only in case of transitive verbs, fine? Now there are, before I start explaining you the rules, just remember that the perfect continuous form of all the three tenses, perfect continuous form of all the three tenses and future continuous form and future continuous form cannot be changed into passive voice. Perfect continuous form of all the three tenses means like present perfect continuous, has been doing. Okay, this is present perfect continuous. Then past perfect continuous, wherein I say had been doing, or future perfect continuous, will have been doing. Okay, will have been doing. So this is the perfect continuous form of all the three tenses and future tenses, okay? Like will be doing. I will be doing this next week. So future continuous. So these tenses, for these type of tenses, again, we do not change them into, or we cannot change them into passive voice, okay? So they cannot be changed into passive voice. Perfect continuous form of all the three tenses, we have seen has been doing, had been doing, will have been doing, and future continuous form, that is will be doing. You cannot change them into passive voice. I hope this much is clear. Correct? Okay, so let's go further. Now let us see the rules of conversion here. You can see this active voice I've written. The sentence formation is subject plus verb plus object. So we have Rajan reads a story, right? Rajan is the subject here, reads is the verb here, and story is the object here. Okay, so what does Rajan read? A story. The moment I change this to passive voice, the object comes here. We give more importance to object. It is being focused upon. So story is read by Rajan. Is the helping verb. Read is basically the main verb. By and then Rajan. Got it? So this is the rule of conversion. So this is how we arrange the sentences in active voice and passive voice. In active, we have subject, verb, object, that is SVO. In passive voice, we have object, helping verb, main verb, by, and the subject. Okay. There is also a change of pronoun in active to passive. For example, you will see that he will become him. Okay. He will become him. Similarly, she will become her. Whenever there is a sentence, she reads a story. So we'll say a story is read by her. Okay. Then we, supposing it is we read a story. So the story is read by us. Okay. Then they read a story. A story is read by them. Okay. So these are the kind of changes. I read a story. The story is read by me. Right. So these are the kind of changes which take place in the pronoun while we change active voice into passive voice. Okay, note them down. Another exception here is it. It will remain it only. Okay, there is one exception to it, and that is it. It will remain it only. Similarly, if there is who, then we'll say by whom. So who did this? So by whom was this done? Okay. So who becomes by whom? What, there is no change. Okay. So if there is a word what in active voice, usually you don't find any change in that. Similarly, when and where. When and where also not much change. Okay. So you won't find much of a change. How, if it is in the beginning, it might come in between, but it will remain how only. Okay. So there is no change as such in where, when, and how. Got it? Just keep in mind that the transitive verbs only will change. You have to be very careful. Don't change the intransitive verb. Okay. And while changing this into passive voice, like I've written the main verb here. So this main verb will usually be in the third form. Okay. This will be in the third form. For example, if it is drink, then it will become drunk. Drank is the second form. So the third form, we will find that. Okay. Now let us quickly take a look at the tense changes which happens. Like in the present tense, if it is a simple present tense. Okay. Simple present tense. Let us take one example. She loves chocolates. Okay. She loves chocolates. So in this case, this is an active voice. Okay, this is the first form. First form is with S. For example, loves, dances. Okay, or does. If this is an interrogative sentence, then does she dance? That ways. But this is an assertive sentence in simple present tense. Now this will be changed as such in this form. See, chocolates are loved by her. Chocolates are loved by her. So what have I done? Is, am, are plus the third form of the verb. Is, am, are plus the third form of the verb. So verb was loves, becomes are loved, and becomes basically loved, and I've added are, and she pronoun changes into her, and by is added, chocolates remain chocolates. Okay. So she loves chocolates, chocolates are loved by her. What is the rule? From active, we have changed this into passive. How come? By adding is, am, are, and the third form of the verb. I hope this is clear. Okay, let us take one more example. She annoys him. She annoys him. So what do? I write it as he is annoyed. See, I've added is here. Annoyed, the third form of annoys. He is annoyed by, I've added, and she becomes her. So he is annoyed by her. Clear? There can be an interrogative sentence also in simple present tense. Shall I take one that so? Okay. Does she want a pen? Does she want a pen? If I take this sentence, does she want a pen? So what do I write here? Is a pen. The object will come here now. Is a pen wanted by her? Okay. Is a pen wanted by her? So again, in this case, we are following the same rule. We are adding is am are before the main subject. Okay. Is am are. In this case, they are placed before the subject. You can see is am are I have placed before pen. See, is placed before the pen. So is placed before the subject in the passive voice. The subject is the subject in the passive voice. That means initially it was the object. Okay. Actually, this pen is an object. Here it has become a subject. In passive voice, this takes the place of a subject. So I just have to place this is before this. Okay. So does she want a pen becomes is a pen wanted by her. Yeah. Now if I take present continuous, let us quickly take present continuous. In the present continuous tense, first of all, we should know what is present continuous. Is, am, are plus ing. Okay. Is, am, are, the first form of the verb and ing. This is the usual form. Is, am, are plus the verb which is there in the first form. This is there in the first form plus ing. So if this is used, then we say that the verb is in present continuous form. And if it is active, let us take an example. I'm enjoying holidays, right? I'm enjoying holidays. So I am enjoying holidays is an active voice, okay? And when I change this into passive voice, then it is holidays are being enjoyed by me. Holidays are being enjoyed by me. So what is the change you're observing? That I've added is, am, are plus the third form of the verb. You see, this is the third form of the verb enjoyed. And you, in the usual course, the object comes here, that is holidays. I becomes me, that is a subject change you can see is am, are. So we add are here because it's holidays. So holidays are being because it is in continuous tense. Okay. So these are the kind of changes we've made. I'm enjoying holidays. Holidays are being enjoyed by me. Okay. So we'll do one more now for present perfect tense. We can do one of the interrogative questions also. For example, am I eating an egg? Am I eating an egg? Okay. So this am I eating an egg becomes is an egg. Is an egg being okay, being eaten by me. So this is same present continuous tense, but this is an interrogative sentence. So again, we use is, am, are before the subject, just like we did that in the previous one. Okay, the interrogative which we saw just now. Then since it is continuous, we'll have to use being, the third form, and I changes to me. So these are all the changes which we have considered while changing this active voice into passive voice. Correct? Now if I go for the present perfect tense, okay, let us take a look at the present perfect tense. Present perfect tense is basically when we are using has and have with the third form of the verb. Okay, this is the identification of present perfect tense. For example, if I say Raju has finished his work. Okay, so this is present perfect tense, or we have finished our work. This is present perfect tense. So Raju has finished the work is in present perfect tense, and this is an active voice. Okay, because we are focusing on the subject. Now, if I change this into passive, what will happen? The work has been finished. The work has been finished by Raju. Okay. The work has been finished by Raju. Got it? So what change have you observed? Has, have, plus been, plus the third form. This third form is of the verb, right? Third form of the verb. Got it? So this is the kind of change we make in present perfect tense. You can also have an interrogative question here. For example, you may have, who has written this letter? Let us make a sentence like this. Who has written this letter? Okay, so this is an interrogative sentence because it is a question and it is in present perfect tense. So how do I change this? I told you who becomes whom. So by whom has this letter been written? Okay, so you can see there has, have plus been, but with the third form, has been written. Okay, you just have to follow the rules, nothing else. So who has written this letter? By whom has this letter been written? So this is an interrogative sentence in the present perfect tense. We have some changes in the past continuous tense also and the future continuous, along with some changes in modals, which we'll discuss in the next video along with certain questions. Okay, so in the meantime, just watch this part of the video, then we'll go for the next one. Thank you.